Have you ever heard of a child who survived fire simply because of faith? A child who was thrown from mountains, attacked by snakes, and placed inside burning flames. Yet nothing could harm him. Not because he was powerful, but because his devotion was stronger than fear. This is the story of Prahlad, the young devotee whose faith defeated the arrogance of a king, and whose story became the origin of the festival we celebrate today as Holi. Long ago, in ancient times, there lived a powerful king named Hiranyakashipu. He was not an ordinary ruler. Through years of intense penance, he had pleased Lord Brahma and received a powerful blessing. This blessing made him almost impossible to kill. He could not die by man or animal, not during day and not during night, not inside a house and not outside, not on the ground and not in the sky. With such protection, Hiranyakashipu became extremely powerful. But along with power came ego. He began to believe that he himself was greater than the gods. Soon he made a strict rule across his kingdom. No one shall worship Vishnu, everyone must worship me. People were afraid of the king, and so they obeyed. Temples were closed, prayers stopped. But there was one person in the kingdom who refused to follow this rule, and that person was his own son, Prahlad. Prahlad was very different from his father. From the moment he was born, his heart was filled with devotion for Lord Vishnu. As a young child, he constantly chanted the name of Vishnu. Even when he was sent to school, he spoke only about devotion and kindness. He would tell other children, the greatest happiness in life is remembering God. When Hiranyakashipu heard this, he was furious. How can my own son worship my enemy? He shouted. He called Prahlad and demanded, who is the most powerful being in this universe, Prahlad? Prahlad calmly replied, Lord Vishnu. The king's anger grew stronger. Again and again he tried to convince Prahlad to worship him instead. But the young boy never changed his answer. With peaceful eyes and a calm voice, he simply said, Father, Vishnu is everywhere. Blinded by pride, Hiranyakashipu decided to punish his own son. Many attempts were made to harm Prahlad. He was thrown from a high mountain, but he survived. He was placed among poisonous snakes, but nothing happened. He was trampled by elephants, yet he remained safe. Each time Prahlad simply closed his eyes and prayed, and each time something mysterious protected him. This only made Hiranyakashipu more furious. Finally, he decided to take help from someone he believed could destroy Prahlad, his sister, Holika. Holika possessed a special power. She had a magical cloak that protected her from fire. Hiranyakashipu made a cruel plan. Holika would sit inside a blazing fire while holding Prahlad in her lap. She would remain safe. Prahlad would burn. Soon a large fire was prepared. Flames rose high into the dark sky. People gathered around, whispering in fear. Holika sat calmly in the center of the flames with Prahlad on her lap. The fire grew stronger, but Prahlad did not panic. He simply closed his eyes and prayed, Lord Vishnu, I trust you. Then something unexpected happened. A powerful wind began to blow. The magical cloak that protected Holika suddenly slipped from her shoulders and wrapped itself around Prahlad. Holika, who believed she was protected, was now exposed to the flames. Within moments, she was consumed by the fire. But Prahlad remained completely safe. This moment symbolizes the destruction of evil and arrogance. Even today, on the night before Holi, people light a sacred fire known as Holika Dahan. It reminds us that evil intentions eventually destroy themselves. But Hiranyakashipu still refused to accept the truth. In anger, he confronted Prahlad one last time. "Where is this Vishnu who you keep talking about?" he shouted. Prahlad replied peacefully, "Father, Vishnu is everywhere." The king laughed. "Is he in this pillar too?" Prahlad nodded. "Yes, father, he is in this pillar." Filled with rage, Hiranyakashipu struck the pillar of this building with his weapon. Suddenly, a powerful roar echoed through the palace. The pillar cracked open. From it emerged a terrifying form, half man, half lion. It was Lord Narsimha, a form that was neither human nor animal, exactly as the prophecy required. Narsimha lifted Hiranyakashipu and carried him to the palace doorway. It was twilight, neither day nor night. He placed the king on his lap, neither on earth nor in the sky, and with his claws he ended the tyrant's reign. Justice had finally arrived. Prahlad's devotion had defeated arrogance. Truth had defeated power. And from that day onward, people celebrated the victory of faith. The burning of Holika became a reminder that evil can never defeat sincerity and devotion. And the next morning, people celebrated with joy. They threw colors, they laughed together, they welcomed the arrival of spring. This celebration became the festival we now know as Holi. But the deeper meaning of the story is not about fire or colors, it is about something much greater. It reminds us that even in the darkest moments, faith creates protection. Just like Prahlad trusted Vishnu without fear, we too can learn to trust truth and goodness in our own lives. Because in the end, arrogance always burns away, but devotion always survives.